Yo guys, welcome back to another video on our channel, and today I've got the best custom tactics for the 4-3-2-1 formation in FIFA 23. But quickly before we do get into today's video, if you are new around here, be sure to subscribe to the channel with notifications so you don't miss any more videos on the channel. If you do enjoy it, smash thumbs up. Also, let me know your thoughts on these custom tactics in the comments below. But I don't mess about, let's jump straight into it right now. Okay guys, so for the custom tactics, obviously as I said, we're using the 4-3-2-1. The way I like to set this up is obviously have your three attackers. I have a defensive midfielder in the middle, I have a box-to-box at the right centre mid or left centre mid, and then I have an attacking midfielder in the left or right mid. So I've got a box-to-box, a defensive midfielder, and attacking midfielder. I just like how this plays, and the way that I set up my tactics just plays really nicely for them. It lets one of your midfielders get forward, so you've got four in attack with one of your wing backs getting involved. But then when you're defending, your box-to-box is still getting back. You've got your defensive player and you get your full-back at the back. It just plays really nice. I love the way that this plays out, and it just feels really, really good and overpowered. But let's jump into the tactics, guys. If we do come over to the custom tactics, we are going to have the defensive style is going to be stayed on balance. We're just going to have that on balance. I don't like any of the others. I mean, you got constant pressure and press after possession loss. You just stamina gets absolutely destroyed. Drop back, I just find that you end up dropping him back way too far. I just don't like how it plays. And for me, balance is just the best defensive style on any formation, really. Whichever tactics you'll see from me, the balanced defensive style is the one that I will go with most of the time. In terms of width, I'm going to drop this down to around about 45. I just like where that plays when I'm defensive. It just solidifies everything. Everyone tucks in nicely. The midfield's nice and strong. There's no players that are forced out far too wide and they're just way out of position where they don't need to be. And then for my depth, I bring it up to around 55 to 60, anywhere between that sort of mark. You might want to mess about with this a little bit and just try and get it right for what you like. Obviously, the depth is just how far your defense is going to drop back and how far your whole team's going to sit back. I like it on around 55, more than 60. I just feel that it plays a lot nicer. I find that when I'm 60, it's a little bit too deep for me, my play style. I get caught out quite a lot of my team sit way far back. So the 55, 56 sort of mark is where I will have that, and it just feels nice for me. So it's the right sort of depth. So then when you do win that ball back, your team aren't sat all the way back. You've still got some players that are in good attacking positions. You win the ball, you can go on a quick counter attack, go through it, and because you've got three players up front, and like I said, with that attacking midfielder pushing forwards as well, you've got a good amount of players running forwards that are in good positions already, and you can start really creating some good chances. For the build-up play, on some formations, I like the long ball. I never really go to fast build-up or slow build-up. I don't like either of those two. Some formations, like I said, I do like the long ball, but on this formation in particular, I'm going to be playing the balanced build-up style. For chance creation, the same as every custom tactic I do, guys, is going to be direct passing. I love the way this plays. It just creates a lot of options. It means your players are going to be moved into those positions to be able to receive the ball, turn out, find another player. You can play some really nice football and just find your players that are in really good positions because they're just going to be open, ready for that pass, and it's just a really, really nice way to play. For my attacking width, guys, I bring it down to around about 45 sort of mark. You could leave it on 50 if you want to. I like it on about 45 to 50. Anywhere between that feels nice. It just means that your players aren't too wide because you haven't got any wide players on this formation. Obviously, your two centre forwards are slightly wider than your striker, but if you have the width a little bit more narrow, you're almost playing with three strikers, and that midfielder is going to push up, almost slots in behind. So it's almost like you've got an attacking midfielder and three strikers, which gives you a lot of options to hit. They're all going to run towards that back line, which means one of them is going to have that pass on you. You have to play a through ball to one of them. One of them will be in a bit of space. Play that ball through, and then you can either shoot or get the ball into the box, whatever it is you want to do, whatever the best option at that point is. I like how this plays the width. The width is really nice. It means your midfield is nice and tight. Your attackers are tight, but they're not too tight where they're literally on top of each other. They're nicely spread across the back four that their opponents will have, which just means, like I said, one of them's going to find that bit of open space for you to run into. In terms of my players in the box for crosses, I do bring this up so there's only three that aren't selected. I like a good amount of players in the box for crosses because I'll just low drive them or just play that power pass into the middle of the box, and one of the players a lot of the time is going to get on the end of it. In terms of corners and free kicks, I do drop this down to 2. I like how that is. It just feels nice. You don't need too many players for corners and free kicks because they're quite difficult to score in this game, at least for me anyway. I struggle to score for corners and free kicks, so I like to have it on a little bit less because it means you've got more players sat around the edge of the box. So when that defender headers the ball out, the goalkeeper punches it out, you've got a couple of players that are there ready to pick it up to then create another chance, either have a go at goal, find another option, and have another chance at goal. Okay guys, so that is the tactics that we use. Let's jump into the instructions now. And for our striker, we are going to have it on balance, width, and getting behind. Sometimes I train just to stay central. It depends who I've got up front. So because in this team, my Premier League team, I've got Jared Bowen up front. He's a wide player. He seems to drift off wide sometimes. So when it's someone like him, I will have him on stay central, getting behind, just to make sure he's staying in the middle of the pitch. He's going to be that main striker down the middle. But some strikers, like if it's an actual striker, a lot of the time you won't need that. You'll find that they stay pretty central anyway. So you can actually have it on balance. And that just just creates a nice little option, especially with the other instructions that I'm about to show you. So for Bowen, I'm going to have it on stay central, getting behind. And then my left center forward, guys, is going to be my other striker. I'm basically going to have two strikers with Paqueta then playing as a third striker later on. So his instructions are simply on just getting behind. There is no drift wide. There's no stay central. They will play at a nice width without us having to do any of that. So Ben Rama as the left center forward is going to be simply on getting behind. My right forward is balanced width, getting behind, normal interceptions, but come back on defense. I like having one of these come back on defense. It just gives you that extra defense opportunity. But because I've then got him on getting behind, as soon as we win the ball back, he's going to be bombing up the pitch, trying to make those runs to create another option. And like I said, getting behind the defense. Our midfield, guys, is where, like I said, it's going to give us some extra options. So for the centre midfielder, the centre midfielder, Declan Rice, he's going to be my defensive midfielder. Stay back while attacking, balance crossing runs, normal interceptions, stick to position, but cover centre. I do not want Rice drifting out wide because I've got other players that are going to cover those positions. I need Rice to stay central, right in the middle of the pitch, right in front of that back four, and just solidifying things in the midfield. My right centre mid, guys, is then going to be my box-to-box midfield, which is going to be Thiago, having my balanced attack, balanced crossing runs, normal interceptions, stick to position, and cover wing. Everything on default for him. That just plays really nicely just like that. I don't need him to cover central. We've got Rice there. Paqueta's going to come back and cover the right, like the really far out wide. So Thiago's going to be in that nice little hole between Paqueta and Rice and just fill up that little distance there. And then for the left midfielder, guys, is going to be Harry Kewell, who, like I said, is going to be my attacking midfielder. And his instructions are get forward, get into the box for crosses, normal interceptions, stick to position, and to cover wing as default. Like I said, when we're defending, he's going to be back in that midfield. He's going to be solidifying things up. He's a big player. He's physical. He can win the ball back nicely. But when we do win the ball back, he's going to be bombing forwards as well to try and help those three attackers that we're going to have. So we're going to have Bowen and Ben Rama basically up front the entire time. Paqueta and Kewell are going to join the attack as soon as we win that ball back. Rice is going to sit in the middle. And then Thiago is going to make some runs if he needs to. If not, he'll sit back and just defend where he needs to be. And then in terms of my centre-backs, that is all just on default, completely default. For my left back, who's going to be Robertson, who's not the fastest of all players. We're going to have on stay back while attacking. And then Trippier, who has got good pace, is going to be on join the attack and overlap, but then everything else is on default, so normal interceptions and stick to position. I like how this plays. Obviously, if you've got a faster left back, say you've got team of season Fonzo Davies, you might want to have him on join the attack and overlap, and your right back to stay back while attacking. It's entirely up to you which one you want to do this with, but that's the way that I have it set up. Like I said, it then gives Trippier that option to bomb forwards. The other thing that I will say as well, depending on which side your attacker is that's going to be coming back. So, for example, if I have my left centre forward on get back while defending, so like I do for Paqueta, he's come back on defence, which is why I like having Trippier to join the attack. Because if Paqueta is still sat in deep and we've won the ball in the middle of the park and Paqueta sat in there, Trippier is going to bomb forward and take that role that Paqueta should have, and Paqueta will just slot in where Trippier should have been. So if, like I said, I had Ben Rama on come back while defending, I'd probably have Robertson on join the attack and overlap, and then have Trippier on stay back while attacking. It just gives you that extra option down the left or the right hand side of the pitch, depending which attacker's coming back. And then for the goalkeeper, guys, we have comes for crosses and balanced on default. That is how I set that up. Your roles are obviously going to be depending on what you want them for, depending on which players you've got in the team. But that, guys, is the best custom tactics for the 4-3-2-1 formation in FIFA 23. If you did enjoy it, smash thumbs up, subscribe if not, and catch you on the next one in a bit.